Good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Ramesh, for introducing me. I would like to thank the Iranian-American communities across the United States for inviting me to speak at this great virtual conference today. I'm speaking today while 40 years of mullah's rule has dismantled the country's medical, health, and welfare foundations to a large extent, leaving our country and society unable to defend against pandemics. Despite Iran being so rich and resourceful with oil, gas, and other natural as well as human resources, unfortunately, some 60 million people live under the poverty line in Iran as I speak to you now. The regime is exploiting the COVID-19 pandemic. It seeks to resort money and resources from abroad and getting sanctions lifted. At the same time, the mullahs are refraining from deploying the government's resources, particularly their financial and technological resources, consolidated in the IRGC's holding and companies, as well as by Khamenei's headquarters worth hundreds of billions of dollars. The religious dictatorship ruling Iran, terrified of popular uprisings, continue to arrest and summon students, youth, former political prisoners, sympathizers of MEK and their families, and sentences political prisoners to lengthy prison terms. It also hangs prisoners to create an atmosphere of fear and terror. At the same time, the regime is stepping up its rogue behavior in the region with the goal of deviating attention from its isolation inside Iran and its utter incompetence and unwillingness to help the people. The regime hopes that by using intimidation and terror, the international community will back down. The regime can survive through 2020. Tehran is also waging an extensive psychological war against the main organized opposition of Iran, the MEK, and the larger coalition of National Council of Resistance of Iran, the NCRI. While the resistance escalates against the Iranian regime, the mullahs spend huge amount of money to demonize the resistance. Tehran has funded its agents, proxies, and its various lobbies to wage historic attacks against NCRI and MEK and the leadership of the resistance, and the focus is on Ashraf III in Albania. The Iranian regime, which was unable to destroy the MEK with massacre, torture, assassinations, has now resorted to demonizing campaign. The success of Iranian resistance has only made the regime more hysteric. By no mistake, experience shows that these demonization campaigns by Iranian regime are preludes to terror operations. To reach this objective, the mullahs have resorted to most dirty tactics, such as exploiting the families of Ashraf III residents, or arrest and intimidation of family members in order to break the will of MEK members. All to no avail. The demonization campaign is also meant to create confusion, deter the international community from standing on the side of the organized resistance for change, and at the end of the day, the message is go back to the 40-year-old failed policy of appeasement of the Iranian regime. Ironically, when the Shah was in power, the mullahs collaborated with him and his infamous secret police Savak. Now that the mullahs are in power, the remnants of the Shah regime have sided with the mullahs' notorious IRGC, and publicly they say they intend to recruit the regime's paramilitary Basiji members and IRGC. For their part, the mullahs go to great length to propagate monarchy social media and the fantasy of Shah's remnant aspiring to return Iran to the past. They do this to defy the prospect of free and democratic Iran and future. Fortunately, none of the regime's ploys have worked, nor will they ever work. During the November 2019 uprising, the hollow invincibility of Revolutionary Guards crumbled. People believed in their own power. The strategy that relied on resistance units and rebellious cities was vindicated. Everyone saw the resistance units offer a breakthrough and are a beacon for uprising and freedom. But at this stage, what should the international community do? In my belief, first, the regime must be pressured to put hundreds of billions of dollars, which are now at the disposal of Khamenei and IRGC, to the service of suffering people of Iran. Secondly, the international pressure on the Iranian regime must step up, as any relief provided to the regime will only empower the IRGC to further suppress the population and escalate the regime's regional destruction. And third, the United States should use its leverage at the United Nations Security Council to facilitate the snapback of all prior United Nations Security Council sanctions as a result of Iranian regime's non-compliance with its own commitments. After all, no relief either now or a few years down the road should be provided to the Iranian regime. Let me conclude by saying that there is a single solution for the situation of coronavirus in Iran, for poverty, for oppression, for terrorism, and for Tehran's global threat. That solution is overthrowing the mullah's religious dictatorship in its entirety by the people of Iran. As Mrs. Maryam Rajavi, the president-elect of National Council of Resistance of Iran, envisioned in her 10-point plan for the future of Iran, we want a free, democratic, non-nuclear republic based on separation of mosque and state, gender equality, and free market economy. The international community should stand on the side of the Iranian people and their resistance. The world would be a safer place with a free Iran. Thank you all, and I wish you the best at these circumstances. Have a great evening. Thank you.